Yo, it's Fredo Saga. Live your own truth to create your own saga, man. Look, we're gonna be talking about why you need to change your reality. Right now, what your life seems to be, most people create a life or an outturn that shouldn't be happening, right? And that's something that we should be accepting. Sometimes we get influenced by a lot of things. Sometimes we get motives by a lot of influence in the world that right now is kind of just manipulating other people's brains and just kind of increasing the dopamine, right? And you need to be self-aware of that. You need to know how to clearly seek out the mistakes, seek out the problems, seek out the bad in your life and the negativity, in order for you to change it now into positivity, now into something that is truly with intention and truly with true actions behind it, right? A lot of people tend to fall off on what I call trends. These trends are what's influencing the world to think, to influence in the society, or just kind of make decisions based on the outside rather than out making decisions on the inside, right? And simply enough, changing the reality is as simple as you changing your habits. If you're doing something that doesn't align with your purpose, why are you doing it? If it's hurting you, if it's impacting you in a negative way, if it's hurting you, or even so, if it's slowing your process on you completing to become a different successful person, or just in general, not even about being successful, but just becoming a better identity, that's what it all means about. And this is what it comes about, right? You need to become an analysis. You need to become a self-aware person that analyzes himself, but structure to structure, habit to habit, mind to mind, right? Everything has to come to a focus, press it in what you do every day, and basically realize what can you maximize. How can I increase the attributes? How can I level up? How can I experience more experience, right? So first of all, let's start with this, right? The first 7 years are crucial for programming our beliefs, behaviors, and subconscious mind. So this is what I mean by people living lives that, they were just kind of created by their own environment or just how they grew up. And eventually people don't know how to change that, right? They have comfortability with how they live, and they carry that, that will into their lives over and over in the continuous passing time. But if you don't realize how you can basically alternate that outcome, make different changes, and basically just kind of put yourself in a position that you start taking to yourself, right? Why is it that I have this limited belief on this? Why is it that I can have a life like theirs? Why is it that I cannot change my own reality, right? A lot of people are not thought that way. What they're thought is being comfortable on who they are, being comfortable in the way they live, and the way they think, and the way how they take actions. And it's like I was saying, in the first 7 years that we were born, it's kind of what you're feed off. It's kind of what you attract into your own brain, and kind of just live in those spaces. Let's say, for example, right, you were a kid, you're like 4 years old, and you see your dad. Let's say, for example, right, there's a way and a mannerism that your parents, they see money as something hard to get, right? Their perspective is, oh my gosh, I can't get money, it's so hard, we don't have no money, we're broke, we don't have enough money to pay these bills. If you keep hearing that 24/7, and you're like kind of like still in your inner child mind, what you're thinking is that money is hard. Now that you heard it from your parents, because you look up to your parents, obviously, when you're a kid, you automatically are going to transfer that idea onto you. And so the more you keep hearing it, the more normalized it's going to be. Okay, now I'm 10 years old and I have like $5. I'm grateful for these $5, but at the end of the day, I'm still thinking to myself that, oh my gosh, money is hard to get. I don't know how I'm going to get money in the future. Right? We have all these desires, but at the end of the day, we don't realize that these desires come in and within ourselves in the way that we develop, right? And most of us don't know that. Most of us didn't learn having that knowledge. Most of us don't even open ourselves to read a book about money, to learn different perspectives about money, right? And that is the thing. A lot of people keep living within this limited beliefs. They live within these limited beliefs that they grew up to because their parents didn't have what they wanted, So they stick with their limited beliefs, and it can just carries on throughout their lives. So that is one of the essential ways where you need to change your limited beliefs. You need to change the way your perspective was from back then, because you know, we change identities every day. We change ourselves every day. So why is it that you're still gonna have that negative perspective on within you when you can automatically change it whenever? It's all up to you, right? At the end of the day, you can either think that you're broke or you can think that you're rich, right? It's just like there's a difference between that. There's a difference between that, always, right? So moving on forward is, what the first 7 years the brain hit a brainwave state, highly suggestible and receptive state, similar to hypnosis, right? So this is basically saying that our brain is basically just kind of like hypnotized with the things that we hear, the things that we watch, the things that we see, and all these things just come in a development on what is going to be in our identity in the next following time, right? If you see a negative person, you will become a negative person. If you hear a negative person, you will start hearing negative. If you see people act negatively, you're gonna be negatively actively, right? So it's just kind of like example, just following on. And most people, they do it normally, and it's natural. It's natural because that's the way they grew up. But you can change that. You can change that state. Instead of you doing that, you need to realize the consequence, the law of karma, right? The law of cause and effect. Why is it that I do this? Why is it when I do this, it feels natural to me, but these problems keep coming to me, right? Why is it that I grew up doing this, even though nothing comes in a benefit in return to my life or my personal mentality? You need to ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself why you do it. Ask yourself why is so much comfortability me doing this within, right? You have to know what's real or what's fake. You have to know what is true or what is false of my actions, right? Moving on forward is our children observe information from environment, including language, behavior, cultural, emotional response, without critical thinking or judgment, right? So this is talking about the brain hit a brainwave state, right? Our brain, when we were childs, we absorb everything. We absorb the attitude, we absorb the personality, the way we think, the way our ego is gonna be, our ego state is gonna be in situations, or basically, you know, confrontational human talkative responses, right? Everything what it is just basically a response of how the way you grew up. It's just a reflection. Unless you change that, unless you start finding yourself in a different way, unless you start opening yourself to different identities that you should be unlocking yourself with. And that is simply just by doing stuff that you never done before. Maybe try impacting yourself with the things that you love. Maybe try new stuff. Maybe go walk for yourselves. Maybe read books. Like all these things, there's so much tools in order for you to change on who you are. A lot of people love the way how they live because there's so much comfortability in there. They don't realize pain, and once they take notice of that pain, it's going to create that self-awareness. But remember, people are comfortable. People lack common sense. So you're either going to be that person that is just going to let everything happen to what there's happening, or you're going to be that person that is going to let it go and accept the fact that it's happening and grow. Seek different alternatives. Seek different situations which doesn't lead into the situation that I keep passing by to, right? Remember, self-awareness, right? So moving on is formation of the subconscious mind. It's like a sponge. During these years, recording experience that patterns learn this stage influence self-esteem, emotional, what does it say? Sponge and reaction to life events. Okay. So basically what this is saying is that our mind is just like a sponge. My bad, it's because my handwriting is really bad. I need to fix that, right? But moving on forward is that our lives when we were children is like a sponge. We attract all these things. We coming on together into our heart, into our mind, which explains most of our emotional states, explains most of our perspectives in the way that we see things, right? If we see something that's really traumatic and we already went through this before, it's normal for us. It's normal. But the thing is, we don't realize in the picture where why is this traumatic situation happening to me once again, right? When it's a matter of you changing, when it's a matter of you making that traumatized situation a different situation that doesn't lead into a traumatization, right? And these patterns, it's just like a brain pattern. Every time we are nervous, every time we are scared of something, or every time we feel guilty, we feel greedy, it is because of the way that we have sponged all these ideas within our environment, right? And most of these things shouldn't be feeling the way you should be feeling about. There shouldn't be no reason for you to be feeling guilt. There's no reason for you to be feeling nervous. There's no sort of emotion for you to feel as if you were scared, or as if you were to feel lonely or not loved, because all these things can be attracted by yourself. All these things can be attracted by your own mind. So when people give up on themselves because they don't realize that all those things can be built up by themselves, by that self-trust, that self-love, that self-connection, or self-prosperity, it is because they don't know. They don't know. And that is exactly why it's important for you to know, because it could be a life-changing factor. It is a life-changing factor, by the way. It is, because there shouldn't be a reason for you to think the way you think. There shouldn't be a reason for you to act the way you act if it didn't came from your own self-conscious. You know what I mean? If it came from the way that you grew up, right? Something that basically you have been, a sponge over the years that you've been a child and now into the present moment. It is because you have entangled all the things from the past now into the present moment. All these experiences that you went through, all these ideas, all these new words, all these new people that you're meeting, it should be a different cause. It should be a different purpose. It should be a different reason for you to change. And in order for you to attract the actual true attractions that you deserve, right? So moving on forward is mirror of Caroline's and environment. Children model behavior, emotions, and attributes from social surroundings. Depending on which environment, children develop positive or negative or stressful. It is from environment, right? So that is basically explaining all the concepts that we just went through, which is the child mindset, right? The way that we, we have developed all these attributes from our social surroundings. Even when it comes into school, our family, our friends, the way we grew up, it's important, right? It's important. So one of the things that I wrote down here is 3 ways for you to change those self-limited beliefs, to change those negative impact emotions that you carry yourself in comfortability every day, that is, you don't know that it's affecting you, but it is affecting you, right? So first of all is meditation. Meditation is important for you to really focus on your mind, really focus on your thoughts, and whatever thoughts come in your mind while you're meditating, while you're paying attention to your brain, are the thoughts that should be taken away from your mind automatically. So now that you really pay attention into those thoughts, you can always ask yourself things, right? Why is it that I think I'm a loser? Why is it that I think that I'm not deserving of anything? Why is it that I think that I'm not loved? Why is it that I think that I'm broke? Why is it that I think that I have no friends? All these things come from things that we heard back in the past and just build it up as a self-limited belief. So meditation is a perfect tool that you can use in order for you to manipulate yourself and just take away eliminate all the things that are kind of putting you down, right? So second one is self-affirmations. Instead of you thinking to yourself that you're broke, no, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am a person who attracts money, I am a person who is living within a wealthy lifestyle. All these things kind of carry yourself in a different way and just kind of manipulate in a perspective where you don't believe that you're broke no more. You kind of just overturning that into a factor of I am wealthy, I am rich, and moving forward. So right. And moving on is neuroplasticity, engaging new relegated behavior, right? So this is what I mean by trying new stuff, doing new habits, trying out new motives, new actions, and just kind of following your passions. All these things that you do out of love is what's gonna carry yourself in a different state. A lot of people don't do the stuff that they love to do because of the way they're thinking. why they don't know, they don't understand that there's a lot of opportunities in the world, because they would never introduce into new opportunities. They would never introduce into passion, into true talent, and true essence of creation with this, which is this, right? And I feel like in our era we're kind of following those steps of like following the things and kind of taking advantage of a lot of technology, which kind of opens up a much more better perspective than how it was back then, right? So yeah, man, this is why you need to change your reality. And most people, like I was mentioning, right now you're probably thinking to yourself like, okay, but why is it that I need to change my reality if I'm living life how it should be, right? And if that's your perspective, that's okay. I'm not here to force anybody to change their lives. I'm not here to let you know that your life is shit, right? All I'm here to do is just activate that mindset. Activate that mindset that you can act based on your true intentions. You can act based on the true things that you want to do in this world. Like, what are your things that you love to do? What are the things that make you keep going? What are the things that you can improve on in life? What are the things that can change automatically your outcomes right now, which are your problems, now into better problems, continuing in the process of time, right? And I just want to make sure people get that understanding right, because this video is not to, confront anybody's lives. But if you feel like you're not in the right place, if you feel like you're not even making the right decisions for yourself, or even so, you feel like your life is not even your life right now, then what are you doing? Simply, what are you doing, right? Take advantage of what I said, and take advantage of the tools that I just displayed. Meditation, self-awareness, and neuroplasticity. Trying new things. Act based on who you want to act, right? If you're working in a 9-to-5 job, let's say for example, right, you're working in a 9-to-5 job and you want to be, you want to be a gym coach, right? You want to be a coach on whatever concept, then start acting like a coach. Start living based on the coach and research a coach concept, right? What is a coach? What can I do to become a coach? How can I improve as a coach, right? All these things matter. So all I'm making you realize is that most of your limited beliefs have just been developed on the way that you grew up. Your opinions, your perspective, your real state mind comes within how you grew up, right? So look, change it the way you change it. At the end of the day, I'm just letting you know you can change your reality right now if you really wanted to. Like, it's that simple. I'm not asking you X, Y, Z or so. It's just simple. This is simple, right? But yeah, man, I'll leave it up to that. This is why you need to change your reality and keep moving forward. So in order for you to become different identities, yeah, go check out my other socials on the lower left corner. I'll post on Instagram. I also post on TikTok if y'all want day by day, second by second content, right? I also do coach. Stay in touch with me on Instagram or shoot me a DM on TikTok. It doesn't matter. I pay attention to what I do. And yeah, man, hope you have a great one.